What's going on, guys? Welcome back to RC Everyday. Trying to do another Tamiya time video, but a little bit of a snag. So I scored a junk lot on eBay. It was just an old kit box full of parts. And I thought it had some more stuff than it did. But if I was building a TA02, I'd have plenty of stuff. I've got new gearboxes, used gearboxes. I got gearboxes. But I'm trying to get a body for my Peugeot 406. And that yellow body we've had in some videos. It's supposed to be on an FF01 chassis. I think it is. If not, I've got another vintage body that you haven't seen yet that is not painted yet, fortunately. But yeah, I've got to try to get some more chassis together to display these nice bodies I've got. And yeah, this kit, or this lot, came with a ton of great stuff. It was a steal of a deal. I've got tons of M chassis parts and arms, and there's even some machine stuff. I had this in there. Yeah, well worth. The aluminum 4x5 aluminum pieces cost more than what I paid for the whole thing, and it came with this whole real clean chassis with an FF01 skid plate. I've got arms, I've got the broken hub there, but all that, the rear no drive gearbox, I guess we'll call it, all that set up. And I saw this and I thought there's got to be a gearbox in there, but I realized what happened now. That it was just bad pictures. But yeah, I'm looking for one. If anybody knows where one is or anything, FF01 parts are very hard to find. It's the same base chassis as a TA02, and the suspension's all basically the same. It just has a front motor and no rear gearbox. Just kind of a dummy rear with suspension. And yeah, I have one of these cars. That's my Honda with the air ride, my high school car I've recreated. And yeah, not tearing that one apart. And I have another project that has one, probably the box off of this, because I got it from the same guy. But yeah, we'll get to that in another video, because it is pretty special. But I found most everything. I've got my secret Tamiya box here of all my hardware from when I was a kid, and the cars I've taken apart over the years. And I got the rear suspension on and aligned, got the shocks in, had enough hardware to do all that, and even mount the arms. I had the original pins to hold the lower A-arms on, so I was pretty excited about that. I just stuck up front because I've got this piece to mount the lower arms, which is a miracle. And that's got to be off of the car I had when I was a kid in the 90s, so off my TA02, but it should work with this as well. I just got to find the gearbox. I think I've got the upper arms. I've got a whole assortment of dog bones and stuff like that. But this was a heck of a deal. I went through it all there at the beginning of the video, just kind of sorting out. I've got lots of sets of mini arms. Yeah, just good stuff. Alright guys, so this video's kind of been all over the place, but yeah. So we got to that halfway point and I realized I didn't have a front gearbox for an FF01. I thought that junk lot of stuff I got on eBay had it. And yeah, so I did a reel on Instagram and it just said looking for an FF01 front gearbox. Kind of showed what I was working on and everything. So my buddy Scale Rod Garage on Instagram, he hit me up and he had a whole car. And he made me a good deal on it. So here we are. So we've restored it slightly. We just kind of went through and cleaned everything. Got all the years of dust off of it. And it's in pretty good shape. The front bumper piece was broken. So I just left that out on this round. That piece is kind of hard to find. There's only one on eBay on the parts tree and it's kind of expensive. But yeah, we don't need that. We got a motor in there. I went through all the gears. Cleaned everything up. And I realized I went to put my body on. I was going to run this Peugeot body. And I did not know the rear of the FF01 is adjustable. So this is about half an inch too short for this wheelbase. So then I got this piece back out and I started looking and yeah, there's some adjustability with that rear bulkhead and this dummy gearbox section. So I should just I'll take all that apart and lengthen it, but I don't know, this feels very balanced at this wheelbase. So I don't know what body came on this chassis originally, but I kind of want to run it first and see how it is. So these are the tires and wheels for the Peugeot. I don't really like those on that. That's what it came with originally. So I don't know what we're going to do with it, but I'm just trying to piece together more chassis for all my vintage bodies that I'm collecting. And yeah, I never intended to run it, but I mean, we swapped everything out. We got ball bearings all around. I had a broken steering knuckle up front and replaced that with some aluminum stuff. And yeah, just a stock motor. I put a very small pinion gear on there, so it'll be interesting to see how this thing drives. But yeah, in the meantime, I got to do some more research and yeah, still looking for a front gearbox for that one. All of this stuff was pretty much brand new, so I didn't want to just swap the front gearbox onto there. It's all worn underneath, it's even, and it cleaned up nicely. It's got a few gouges and things, but it's a good runner. It's not, realistically, it's just going to be a body holder on the shelf eventually, but yeah, really want to see how this thing runs. Needing some body posts for the FF01. This is a very long one. I don't have one of these. Went through all my box of parts and pretty much everything I have is TA02 or TA01. So yeah, I got to track down some parts for that. But yeah, if anybody's got any of that stuff laying around, I'd like to sell it reasonably priced, not super expensive. Always looking for Tamiya stuff, so hit me up on social media. And yeah, hope everybody gets all their old toys out from when they were a kid and has some fun with them. But a big shout out to Scale Rod Garage for hooking me up with that. He said he got it on a trade and he drove it and had some fun with it, and it was just sitting on a shelf collecting dust. So yeah, really happy with that. Always good to have another Tamiya chassis sitting around. So see y'all in the next video. Keep it scale.